Alright guys, well as promised in my original 2022 Trek Domane AL4 review, I'm going to upgrade the heck out of this bike and we're going to see what kind of performance improvements we can make. If you haven't seen my original review, click up at the top to watch that first. This is going to be a sequel to that review where again I upgrade this bike and I'm going to see how much faster and how much cooler we can make it ride. So first things first, we're going to change out the tires and inner tubes to something a little more lightweight. So let's hop in the garage and see what we're going to change it out to, and we'll come right back. Alright guys, so for the tires today, I'm using my favorite tire, which is the Continental GP 5000 tire. This is in a 28mm size. It's a really awesome tire. And then for the inner tubes, I'm going to be using a ultralight Tubolito S-Tube Innertube. These are extremely lightweight, but still very durable and offer a significantly reduced rolling resistance. So the inner tube coming in at 21 grams. Unbelievable, that is so light. Let's check the other one. 22 grams. Okay, extremely lightweight. Now let's check the tires. 28mm Conti GP 5000s, 241 grams for one tire. Let's check the other one. 243. Okay, let's see if we can weigh all these things at the same time. 527. Okay, so the entire tubes and tire setup is 527 grams. So now let's weigh the bike before we do the upgrades and see what it comes in at. Alright guys, this is the Domane AL4 with the pedals, water bottle cages, and a Garmin mount on the front and a radar mount on the back. That's coming in at 24.25 pounds. That's before the upgrades. So now let's do the upgrades and see how much weight we can shave off this thing. Alright guys, same exact setup as before, except this time we have the Conti GP 5000s and the Tubolito lightweight inner tubes. So now we are coming in at 22.77 pounds. So you guys, that is a 1.5 pound difference just by changing those tires and inner tubes, all for just over $100. That is an extremely efficient way to drop the weight on your bike, you guys. And not only are we dropping 1.5 pounds off this thing, but the improved rolling resistance that we're getting with these new tires, not to mention the slightly more aerodynamic profile, is such an awesome upgrade. I highly recommend doing it. I feel like it's just a no-brainer. Alright guys, well one more change I want to make to the bike real quick is now that I've upgraded the tires and inner tubes, I want to also slam the stem. That's going to make the bike a little bit more aerodynamic and should hopefully eke out just a little bit more speed. So let's go ahead and slam it and then we'll take it out on a ride. Alright guys, and there she slammed. So that's all the upgrades I want to make for now. Of course, you could go absolutely ham and upgrade more things, but I want to stay on a budget. So now let's hop on the bike, let's give it a shot, and let's see how it feels. I am super excited to check this out. Let's go. Alright guys, just starting off my first inaugural ride with these new tires and with the stem slam. So immediately I can already feel the rolling resistance is reduced by so much. The bike feels like it just glides over the surface so much easier than with the other tires. I can definitely tell that this bike feels way more racy, which is interesting for me to say because this is definitely not a race bike. But with those two simple changes, it feels so much snappier and so much more quick to respond, and like you're really rewarded for your input way more than before. I cannot begin to tell you guys how much smoother this ride feels. I feel so much faster. I really feel like the bike has starting to approach that like surgical precision type of handling that I always talk about with the aero race bikes. I mean, this just feels super sharp, super snappy. Like you can really just slice the pie, as I like to say. course, the real test now is going to be how does this thing perform on the hills. There's a huge climb coming up, so let's see how it does there. I have a feeling I'm still going to feel the weight of this thing, but hopefully the rolling resistance should help, but it's a pretty steep hill. Oh man, that'll take it out of you. The bike did pretty well on that hill. Lowest speed was like 11. The performance improvement is just absolutely unreal. I'm serious, I mean, I'm not even joking, seriously. No one's paying me for this. Continental's not paying me, Trek's not paying me. This is just my real unbiased thoughts. I really am blown away by just how much of an improvement this is really making. Another super steep hill coming up here. This area is super hilly. This is one of the steepest on the whole route. Okay, we made it up the hill. I mean, that was a pretty steep hill. Now granted, on a hill like that, the aerodynamics, even the rolling resistance to a degree, isn't gonna matter a ton. It's gonna be mostly the weight that's gonna really impact performance. But the tires definitely do help. I think the shorter stem, or the slammed stem rather, didn't do much for me there, but tires definitely. But I think more so than that, the weight savings of 1.5 pounds, you really notice on a hill that steep. You guys, I'm just speechless. Like, this feels, as I've already said, like a race bike, and kind of makes you wonder, I mean, what's the point of spending so much money on those like super high-end, you know, carbon fiber aero lightweight bikes, which I have, by the way. I have one of those, but I think that this is going to be my new daily driver, which I never thought I would say, because I love my aero race bike. I really do. It's my pride and joy. But I mean, you just can't argue with the comfort of this bike and the price of this bike. Trust me, I'm not the kind of person that falls into the placebo effect thing or the marketing effect, tells you guys just to buy what all the marketing brands tell you to buy. I think there's a lot of BS in the industry as a whole. A lot of people telling you stuff you don't need. So I'm not trying to sell you guys on something. I mean, I make no money on this. I just want you guys to enjoy the sport. Now, do I think you could keep up with carbon fiber race bikes, aero bikes, if you were to bring this to a criterium race? Well, probably not. I mean, if you're doing like an all-out race, you're still going to be at a disadvantage. So, you know, I think if you're doing racing, you need to get a race bike. But if you just want to keep up with your local group rides, which some of those people, you know, if they're using lightweight carbon fiber bikes, aero bikes, and the idea is not to race, but the idea is just to keep up, then I think these upgrades definitely bring this bike back into the picture. So I'm holding about 23 right here. This is the same speed that I hold with my aero race bike, which tells you just how much of a performer this bike can really be with the right setup. Anyway, you guys, I'm gonna finish up this course, and when I get back, let's pull up the computer and let's compare before and after the same course with these tires and with the old tires, and let's see how much speed we gain. So let's finish up and hop on the computer. Alright guys, so I have both rides pulled up on the computer here. So this is the first ride I did with the original stock tires, the Bontrager R1 hardcase light tires. You'll see for this ride, I got an average speed of 16.8 miles per hour. This was a max effort, basically going as fast as I possibly could, and that was the average speed I was able to achieve. Granted, this is a very hilly course, so keep that in mind. But now if we go over to the next ride that I did, which is with the new tires, the Conti GP 5000s and the new Innertubes, I got an average speed of 18.6. Again, max effort, the exact same course, exact same number of hills, all that kind of stuff, and almost 2 miles per hour average speed difference, which is just bonkers. I mean, that is such an improvement. It's really, really incredible, and I just cannot believe how fast that bike can go with the right equipment. Now, just for comparison, I did compare this ride to the exact same route that I did with my super lightweight Cervelo Aero racing bike. Now with that bike, on the exact same course, I got 20 miles per hour average speed. Again, max effort, going as fast as I possibly could. But I think that's to be expected because this is an Aero racing bike and it's about maybe 3-4 pounds lighter. So with those advantages, I would expect it to go faster given the exact same circumstances. So I think this pretty much sits in the middle between the old tires and the heaviness of that bike and then the lightweight Aero racing bike. I think 18.6 is kind of what you'd expect then, given those circumstances. So there you have it. I'm just showing you what this bike is capable of and comparing it to a higher end option. I think it's a really good investment and I highly recommend it. All right, guys. Well, just to wrap up this video then, the performance improvements that we were able to achieve with these new tires and inner tubes and with slamming that stem are extremely impressive. The rolling resistance is noticeably dramatically reduced, and having the stem slammed makes the bike feel a lot more responsive and just more spunky and nimble. And it really is starting to feel now a little bit more like a race bike. So the question is, should you make this upgrade? Well, if you are doing mostly road riding on smooth tarmac, especially if you want to keep up with people who ride faster bikes like Aero race bikes, carbon fiber bikes, then I think making this upgrade is an absolute no-brainer. Right now, at the time of recording this video, these tires are half off on many websites. So take, for example, backcountry.com. You can get each tire for about 45 bucks, and the inner tubes cost around 20 bucks each. So that's well below 150 bucks to dramatically improve the weight and rolling resistance of your bike. So it's an extremely cost-effective bang for buck type of upgrade. And slamming the stem, of course, is absolutely free. And again, it's going to make the bike feel a lot more responsive. So if most of your riding is on smooth tarmac, I think you absolutely should make this upgrade. Now, if you are doing most of your riding on light gravel trails or rail trails, or just on surfaces that are a bit questionable, a bit more bumpy, then in that case, I'd say you probably want to hold off. The stock tires are going to be a little bit more durable and a little bit just beefier tires. So they're not going to be as fast, but they will be a little bit more perhaps comfortable, durable, that kind of thing. And so if speed is really not your goal and you just want to be able to enjoy the local trails, which again, maybe have questionable surfaces, I'd say you probably don't have to upgrade. Those tires are fine for that purpose, but if you do want to go faster and you want to improve the weight, I'd say it's an absolute no-brainer. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have something that you want to see reviewed or talked about on this channel, please drop it in the comments down below and let me know. I really do read the vast majority of comments, and this channel is here for you. I've created this space for us to all learn and grow together as cyclists, so I want to bring you the content that you want to see. So please let me know what you want to see in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support, and until next time, I'll see you later.